Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So in front of us, we get to take a look at the latest generation for the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. This is finished off in Riverside Blue Metallic. They have a starting MSRP just over $69,000. And so let's take a look at what powers this American muscle car. Underneath the hood, this is powered by a 6.2 liter supercharged V8. This model is paired with the 6-speed manual transmission. This pumps out 650 horsepower, 650 pound-feet of torque. Sent to the rear wheels, it will propel this almost 4,000-pound muscle car from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Top speed is just shy of 200 miles an hour for right around a $70,000 car. As far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 14 in the city, 20 on the highway. Not really all that important considering the amount of power that you get. Now for the ZL1, right off the bat, you can tell that the front end is much different. We pretty much have no obstructions up front with the amount of cutouts that there are, including the cutout in the Chevy bow tie to give you that much more airflow. This has LED headlights, DRLs, and the DRLs are actually in the lower section too, with more of that gloss black trim, massive gloss black front splitter, and then even carbon fiber up on the hood. Now this actually has a functional heat extraction vent just in the front there. So airflow can enter through the grille, out that piece, and then up over the rest of the car. Very aggressive front end design for this sports car. Now as we work our way to the side, this has a set of 20-inch wheels finished off in a dark gray. This also gets 6-piston Brembos up front, 4 pistons in the rear. Body colored side mirrors, more gloss black for that side skirt there. And this one even gets a sunroof, which you don't see that often on coupes, which is a neat touch. Really nice lines that run down the side too. And this even has a massive trunk mounted spoiler. Finished off in blue, backup camera, 3D design for those LED taillights. We have all the sensors, even more gloss black, and that quad tip dual exhaust, which we will listen to later. Now there is a button on the key fob to gain access to the cargo area, or use that very convenient button up underneath. You have a little bit small of an opening here, but a pretty good amount of space. The back seats do fold down to give you a little bit more room, and you have some under the floor, not a whole lot, but you can place some items there if needed. So if you're looking for performance and you want practicality, it's a good option to go with. Now entering, we have Alcantara on this door panel, which is a nice touch. Bose audio, trunk release, ambient lighting, memory seating adjustments, window and side mirror controls too, and even some storage. And then leather and suede or Alcantara for the Recaro bucket seats. Heated and ventilated, automatic too, which is nice. And then you can lift that control in order to gain access to the back seats. Now there's a wireless charging pad, and honestly, you're really not putting full-size adults back here. At 5'10", I do have to duck my head a good bit. If I needed a ride around town, it would be fine. Or if you want to take your kids with you, you still want a practical sports car, you can put your kids in the back there and they would be just comfortable. So let's hop into this front seat. Let's get this fired up. Even the startup sounds really good. So we have that 6-speed manual, foot on the brake and clutch. Let's fire it up. It has that good V8 sound to it. We have Alcantara for the steering wheel with all the red stitching. On this left side, there's favorites, cruise control, heated steering wheel. We have volume, Bluetooth controls, and then a few to go through the gauge cluster. On the left side is TAC, miles per hour is on that right side. And then you have a good bit of information that you can scroll through for this gauge cluster. Now in the upper section, all of that is fixed, like your fuel level, you have oil and engine temperature. You can also go into your performance tab and monitor a little bit more vitals. You even have your tire temperature, your electronic limited slip, and then you can go through music, nav, phone, and you have some options. You can enable launch control and go through a few other items. Now, this does have paddle shifters, but these are for the rev matching. Interesting to see them placed in a manual transmission, but this is how you turn them on and off. Both do the exact same thing. Now, this does have a head-up display where you can monitor your miles per hour, pull up your music, pull up your compass, look at your TAC along with your G-force meter, and then just pull up the miles per hour by themselves. Now, right in the middle, we have the touchscreen system. Home screen is going to show you music, phone, and nav. And then you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have the PDR, which is the performance data recorder. So you can monitor lap times or even just driving out on the road, climate adjustments, and even shortcuts down below. Really easy system to go through. You do have some physical buttons too, as well as power and volume. And then underneath that, we have the heated and ventilated seat adjustments, where you'd like the air to go, power, sync, all of that. And then we have the temperature dials. So you can do that for your driver and passenger. Hazards are below that. And then with the 6-speed manual, all the way over to the right and up is for reverse, giving you that backup camera with the guidelines. And then behind that, we have traction control and the different driving modes, from touring to sport, track, and then snow and ice if you want to get a little risky with your Camaro. E-brake, 12 volt and 2 cup holders. And then the armrest has some auxiliaries and a little bit of space if you need to use that. Glove box has a lot more room. Up top, we have the controls for that sunroof, manual adjustment for the sunshade, of course, dome lights too. And you do get a good bit of visibility. It is a tight interior here, especially over this left shoulder, but that is not a reason to not buy this car. You get used to it. It's really easy to see. I've been in a lot of Camaros, but let's go ahead and get this out on the road. And from second gear, here we go. This definitely gets up and moves. And one thing I want to talk about as far as the driving modes go for this Camaro, with the 4 that I showed earlier, they don't actually change anything as far as the exhaust note goes. So this doesn't have an active exhaust system that you can use those for. Interesting to see. I kind of wish it had that, but mainly those are just going to modulate your throttle response based on the condition and the mode that you were in. And a cool feature I want to show real quick is the gear skipping. So from first gear here, I will do that where it showed me to shift, and it immediately locked me out of second and put me right into fourth. So I went to shift. You can see I'm in fourth right now. I went to shift from first gear and it pulled it over. If you're not really tracking the car, you know, you're not getting up to speed very quickly, it can just help you save on some MPGs. But now that we're behind the wheel for the $70,000 Chevrolet, I think this is worth every bit of 70 grand. Now you can also get these used, of course, if you want to spend a little bit less, but for 70 grand, the amount of performance that you get is crazy to see right off the factory lot. So literally, once you break this in, you can take this to the drag strip, you have launch control, you can take it to the track. You don't have to do anything to this car. So if you're just looking for a sports car that you can just hop in, learn how to drive it, go have some fun, and you want this to be your only car too, it's absolutely worth it to do both. So that's one cool reason with the Camaro. And of course there's other muscle car options out there too, but I think for the price, I think the Camaro is definitely a good option to go with. There's a huge debate with all three. You pick the one that works best for you, but with this 70 grand, definitely get a good sound. You can't go wrong with that. But I love the user interface too. You don't have a whole lot, but in a car like this, it's just something that you want to get in and drive. You don't need to worry about doing a million different things. Even to me, the ambient lighting is a cool feature, but it's a little bit much for me. I would just have it in one color there. But it really just depends on what you're doing for the day. I think you have plenty to drive this every day. But I think that's going to wrap it up for the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Once again, huge shout out to Randy Marion Chevrolet for providing the Camaro for me today. Check out their website. Give this video a huge thumbs up too if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.